welcome to another unboxing video from theplayersaid.com. My name's Alexander, and today we are taking a look at Assault Red Horizon 41. This is a new tactical wargame system from I believe, a newish or new company called Assault Games. They're a German company. This game's designed by Wolfgang Klein. So, great last name, we approve of that. So, Red Horizon 41, as you may well imagine, this is a World War II East Front-based tactical system. Presumably, if this does well, this is like one of their flagship games. They will do other theaters as well. But this is an extremely big and extremely heavy box. This is like, I don't think it's quite the size of OST, but it is definitely the same weight. This game is huge and there's a ton of stuff in it. So, two-player tactical war game. Oh, let's just open this up and dig it up. Okay. So, rules versions 1.0. And this is a fairly hefty tome. We have here 30 pages of rules. Cool. 30 pages of rules, full color, nice glossy. That's a good chunk of rules, good chunk of examples. And I will be very interested here. Let me just take a quick look here. We will, seems okay. I will let you know how it is, because translating a rulebook this detailed, hopefully it's worked out well. Usually they do a good job, but when you're playing a crunchy tactical game, you want to have no room for interpretation. If I can say that. So, scenario book. This is one of the more important parts of this. If you're going to pay this much for a game and have it imported, what are we going to get? We got some training scenarios. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 8. This is a ton. This is like a good 20-odd scenarios almost. We really like that. Good amount of scenarios. When you give you like 6, I'm like, yeah, okay, it's fine. But a whole bunch of scenarios in here. Some of them are fairly large, some of them are massive, some of them are like one little board. And you'll kind of see the shape of the board here in just a second when we kind of get these out. So those are the scenarios, but what is kind of unique about this is you've got a campaign book called Crossing the Narev, and this is a campaign of linked scenarios. You will play through this, and so this game is much more than just, oh, here's a whole bunch of like individual scenarios. You can go real hard and play this as like a campaign game, which you don't include this and playtest this and make this if this isn't a big kind of part of your games. I think this is a pretty big selling point, and also probably, I imagine, the guys over at Assault Games just like played that kind of stuff all the time and think, yeah, that's the kind of stuff that they get into, which I appreciate. So, we have here now units and artwork. We will see, I think this is just for fun. Yeah, looks like you just have like a little encyclopedia of some kind of statistics of the AFVs that we used on the Eastern Front in 41. Is that a bonus scenario? Looks like it is, which is cute. Yeah, different teams and specialists that were used in the Red Army and the Wehrmacht at the time. More scenario, nice. Yeah, some heavy weapons teams. And another scenario. So it looks like we've got a couple extra scenarios in there. That's pretty nice too. But yeah, it's a lot of paper in there. So, the rest of this game. It's a lot. Okay, so we have some sheets of counters. We will fish these up. I say some. It's quite a lot. So, okay. We have our AFVs here. These are mostly Russian ones, but the units are hexes, which I think is cute. You got a hex-based game, let's make the units hex-based. It's also nice because they have an arrow for their facing, which I also very much appreciate. There's like no mistake in what's what. Oh, I got a BA-10. I've got one of those in my display shelf that I made in 1/35th scale. Anyway, those are extremely well cut and well scented, and those basically punch right out, and there is 0, and I do mean 0, nubs on those. So I'm very, very impressed with that, very happy with that too. Those do have a reverse side on them, where they are presumably damaged. So that's those. We have some of these hardened markers. We've got some NKVD units, CAV units as well. Again, they've got a reverse side with fewer pips on them. So those are kind of a tan color, is what we'll call it. So then we've got our white backgrounded Germans. So that's going to be fairly easy to differentiate those on our board. Bunch of anti-tank guns, little 37mm ones that we used during Barbarossa. Machine gun teams, mortar teams, anti-tank rifles. Oh, those are falling out there as well. So we've got some veteran, elite, and recruit markers as well. So I guess you can have different kind of... Oh, and hardened, I presume, is also one of those statuses. Huh. Interesting. I wonder if those... There's quite a lot of those. I wonder if you use a lot of those per scenario. But those are going to indicate the quality of each unit, I would imagine. And then we have some German small anti-tank guns or assault guns. A couple Panzer IIIs. More infantry units. And then we got all the tanks. So we got some Hanemags, Panzer IIs, Panzer IVs. Couple of Flak 88s. Alright, so then we have admin markers. This is what you all came to see. Firing markers, move and fire markers, turret fire markers, close combat dug-in. All the kinds of stuff that you would expect from this kind of a game. So it looks like we might have kind of stacks of admin counters on each of them. As you use it, oh, I've done my normal action. Great, mark it with a normal action. Oh, he's firing. Mark him with a firing marker. More of those. And those are square, so those are going to be... The different shapes make a big difference. If you can have a big circle with a hex on top and then a small square on top, sure, you're getting into stacks of units and things like that. But if the stacking limit's 1, you've got... It's a nice, easy kind of layer cake, and as such, it's easy to manage that. That's one of the things when it's a bunch of squares that are all the same size, managing those is kind of miserable, and I hate it. And a whole bunch of Russian infantry. Okay. There's a whole bunch of this. Great. So, we're going to have to bag all of that stuff. Now we have 2 play aids, 2 identical play aids. Again, these are version 1.0 play aids, so we have our little terrain effect charts here, ranged fire modification tables, and then we have back here modifications to defense die, so some a bit more robust, in-depth examples of all the different modifiers that you can get as well. So one person each can have one of those. Alright, back to the box. These are the Geomorphic Boards with our sweet custom dice that we're going to be using for combat. Let's kind of fish out a bunch of this stuff here. Couple decks of cards. Alright. And some more units. These are kind of all fallen out during shipping, I suppose. Big shipping insert, nothing underneath that. So we're going to toss that. Alright. So, these are the map boards, which are double-sided. So, you get a lot out of these, but they're these geomorphic ones. You can just kind of stick them together, boop, like this. That's the idea of the thing anyway. And there's a bunch of these. The terrain on them is very clear. These are quite big as well. This is like probably 1.5 inches across at least. Could be 2 inches. But there's a bunch of these. I think some of the scenarios are like sticking 4 of these together. And they have center dots on them, which should make it extremely clear that this is like dense woods, and this one is like light woods. I presume. I don't know, because I haven't looked at the... Yeah, light forest, forest, heavy forest. But like, that's what this one is. Sure, there's a couple trees on the edge here. This is open terrain. Just that extra level of delineation means there's no mistaking what's what. There's a whole bunch of these. Nice big old village there, which we appreciate. whole bunch of those. Lots of green. Okay, late summer of 1941. What could possibly go wrong? Alright, decks of cards. So we have here... some command cards. Soviet formation cards, command cards, Soviet formation cards. So they're kind of split up in printing. So these are the command cards. German player looks at the Soviet player's current hand of command cards. They may then choose one of these cards and place it in their opponent's discard pile. So looks like we're going to have opposing decks of command cards to help move things along. Our formation cards looks like, I presume, is a reference for all the stuff that you've got in a particular scenario. Oh, this is the 88th NKVD Border Regiment. So you're going to have an NKVD support platoon, which has 2 squads of NKVD units, light machine gun, heavy machine gun, Maxim machine gun, and a truck. So you'll have those to set up with, and they'll maybe support a rifle division, or sort of platoon from the 86th Rifle Division. Set these guys up how you want within the area, I presume. A whole bunch of those. So on this one, we've got our German formations. Similar type of concept. And we have our, I would presume, well, our German command deck. Is it a singular command deck that you both draw from? I'm not sure. It has a German unit on it. Seemingly that's the case. But I believe these are then unit reference sheets. So you're going to have, you know, all the different types of units out that you've got, and then maybe you put the elite markers on these, but these tell you your ranges, the dice colors that you're going to use to score hits from. This has their armor rating. So frontal armor, blue and yellow, side armor, blue and green, rear armor, blue and blue, top armor, nothing. But like for infantry, it's all the same all the way around. But there's these blast symbols, which maybe they're weaknesses to artillery, and what that looks like as well. I presume we're going to have a bunch of reference cards out as well. Number of discs, number of, I'm not sure what they are, order markers and control markers. The world's smallest turn record track, we appreciate that. 2 regular D6, but then you also have, these are the custom dice you're going to roll. And these have a number of X symbols on them, blanks, targets, double targets, target and a skull. And there's a whole bunch of these, and obviously they're of differing qualities depending on what it is that you're rolling. But then if you look back at your little terrain effects chart, these give you different colored defense dice against, you know, the dice that are being rolled against you, so to speak. So there's a lot in here. There's a lot to unpack. We will play this at some point and let you know how it is. But this is Assault 41. Assault Red Horizon 41. I apologize, from Assault Games. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I've been Alexander from thePlayersaid.com.